just thought I'd pop in and show you a page I've been working on. It's called If Nightmares Was Blue Cheese and Stripy Mice, Clockwork Mice, and I did this at work over the weekend. I did the drawing of the mouse, and I thought I would just pop in and have a bit of a chat while finishing him off. So here I am. I'm just looking for my paintbrushes. So I'm going to do him in dark blue and light blue, just the edges. Part of the reason why I'm doing this page is because sometimes, like a lot of people, we get anxiety and we have anxiety attacks, and we don't know what causes them. Anything can cause them. It doesn't have to be bad things. It can be good things as well as bad things that can cause anxiety. You can get overexcited, and that can cause anxiety. And one way that I find that combats anxiety for me is to actually draw in my sketchbook sometimes. And this weekend has been stressful for me, or this last week has been stressful. I have a lot of things going on at home at the moment, and it's a good time to sit back and maybe visit the studio to have a bit of downtime. And by drawing out some of the anxieties is a good way to kind of face them, really, in a way, and not let them have the grip on you that they can have. You're allowing them to be acknowledged. You're not turning away from them. It's a mindful act of creating in your journal. I mean, some people write, some people draw. I'm not very good at writing. I don't keep a written journal. I'm dyslexic, and I do love watching people that create journals. They're really awesome, some of them, you know. But I'm an artist, and my way of combating stress and anxiety is to paint. And some of our anxieties are really, really real, you know, like they're not make-believe, they're not in our heads, they are real things that happen that we have no control over. But what we do have control over is how we deal with the situation. And this weekend I was working, and what I do, one of the jobs that I do is I go filming dance and dance and take photographs of dance schools, the students in dance schools, for the productions that they do. I do this with my son, and when I have some spare time, because we travel quite a way around the country filming, I take my sketchbook with me, and this time I didn't have anything to get inspiration. My dog's just come in the studio. We have two dogs, River and Anouk, and Anouk is my dog, and she was on the settee asleep, and she's obviously woken up and realised that I'm not downstairs, and so she's wandered into my studio to find me. She's just wandered off again now. Well, as I was saying, I was oh, don't know where that's come from. It's not good. So I had no inspiration in front of me, and I thought, what can I do? What can I use as inspiration for this page? And it's just a quick page. It's nothing special. It's just to get thoughts and emotions out. That's all it's there for. And I thought about things that's going on at home at the moment, things that as a family we're all dealing with, and some of it is life-changing for some members of the family, you know, and you always hear that saying in your head, when you're little, all your troubles are little ones. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to create a page about when nightmares are just clockwork stripy mice and blue cheese. If life was, as you get older, it's that simple, it'd be amazing, it'd be awesome. But it's not that simple. You know, if ever you get stressed, really stressed, and you can find a quiet corner, pick up a pen or a pencil and just doodle. Gives you like a mini respite from the world, where you can take stock of the situation, think about it in a different perspective maybe, and when you've finished, you've got a page that you can reflect on. It doesn't stop the memories of having worried, but instead of just sitting there worrying to death, you've actually got something that you can show for it. And you soon become present in the moment, either reflecting on what you've done and how you feel about when you're creating. Because when you're stuck in the moment, when you're concentrating on your drawing, or you're concentrating on your breathing to get you through anxiety, or you can manage to go for a walk, when you've had that focus, you know, it has a strange way of working itself out. It gives you a new kind of perspective. It's difficult to explain. Like if you're really angry and you go out for a walk and you're the rhythm of your feet on the surface of the ground eventually penetrates your thoughts, and whatever was making you angry, you fall into the rhythm of your heartbeat, the rhythm of your breathing, and slowly you suddenly come out of this kind of anger or anxiety, and I'm not quite sure how it works, but you begin to feel not so bad about it. You seem to kind of reason it out in your head, so that when you get back from your walk, things don't look as bad as when you walked out the back door, front door, as it did at the time. And this is so much like with artwork. You know, you think about how awful it is, blah blah blah, how things aren't fair, or you wish they were different, and why me, and nobody listens. You have all these kind of things going on, and by the time you've got back home again, it doesn't seem to be so daunting as it was before. And you soon get, when you start to draw a picture, go for a walk, even do those colouring books, do something physical. Don't try reading, because sometimes that's not always the answer. You need to give your brain, your monkey brain, something else to think about. It's not going to listen to words on a page. It doesn't kind of work that way, because it doesn't want to play ball. It wants you to worry. It wants you to think about things. But if you start to draw, paint, garden, go for a walk, the brain then is divided up. It's thinking, well, I can't get angry and walk. I can't be angry and focus on anxiety if you're expecting me to colour in, because I've got to make decisions about what colours I'm going to use, what it is that I'm doing. If I'm gardening, I've got to suddenly think, where are the tools, what it is that I want to garden, what it is that I want to do. So the monkey brain has to conform with the activity that you want it to engage in, and this lowers the anxiety. When you're focusing on something. And I was thinking about all the things that I have to do this week, and all the running around, and how stressful it's been, and kind of juggling all the balls in the air, and how am I going to do this, and how am I going to find time to do that. And I thought, I don't know, when I was a little girl, the only thing I needed to worry about was going to school. Would I have any sweets? Would I be seeing my friends? What's on telly? And I had nothing to worry about. And that's the way it should be. So, just dried that, and I'm going to use a completely different colour on the holes. This isn't any special paint at all, because it's just a journal page. It's not supposed to be perfect, as I've said before. It's not about perfectionism. It's just about using it sometimes to get your worries and anxieties out and create a piece of work at the same time. And if you did want to create a journal for putting in your anxieties or worries, nobody has to see them. Or if you just want to do painting as a relaxation, you still don't have to show anybody. It's yours. It's not there for everybody to see. It's just there for you to help you get through maybe a tough moment. And also it allows you to set some time aside for yourself. A lot of people have anxiety because they don't have time to sit with themselves. They're so busy rushing around doing stuff. And they don't have any time set aside to think about their next step, think about what they want to do, what would be best in a certain situation. You just rush straight headlong into situations without thinking it through. And this can cause anxiety because people don't always say, look, I'm not in a good place at the moment, don't think I can do X, Y or Z, but you feel obliged and you don't want to say no. You don't want to upset anybody because you think, well, they've got a lot on their plate as well. But sometimes you're better used to other people when you've rested, when you've reflected, when you've calmed down. You could be more reasonable. And you can see things in a more objective light. So keep, I think they're called like smash journals, or I'm not too sure, but I have heard some people keep these journals where they just put everything down, their feelings, they write them down, and then they do a piece of art on top. I think they're called smash journals. You just smash it all down, slam it all down. And if you're like me, you just want to draw a picture that reflects how you are feeling. Or when you've got over the anxiety, you know, thinking about, like I have done, like my mum said, you know, when you're younger, nightmares in your sleep are the only things you need to worry about. Now I'm just going to re-outline everything. Not with this pen work. No, not with that pen. With another pen. Got a uniball somewhere. There we go. I tell you what, uniballs are the best pens ever. They just write over everything. I say this isn't the best journal page. It's just to work through some anxiety, just to give me a respite from what was going on. And like I say, I started this at work and I'm finishing it off in my studio. So even at work, you can always find time to grab a piece of paper, take your journal with you, and just slam dunk some drawing in it. And when you go back to it, like I did this one, because this is now Tuesday and I did this on Sunday, it gave me something to kind of focus on. It's like, oh, I've started this drawing, blah blah blah, what else can I put in it, what else can I do to it, how for me can I make it into more of a narrative, because I do like my stories to have a narrative. And so what started as a piece of work brought about by anxiety becomes a piece of work about thinking about when I was small and my worries were just nightmares. Let me use this. Here we go. If nightmares were simply blue cheese. And clockwork mice. And now I have a page in my journal book that I can reflect on and think about. And what I also thought about was I would show you some of the pages in my journal book that I have done. Just to flick through some of the pages that you might like to see. So I'm going to show you a couple of pages and then maybe in a month or so's time show you some other pages. Okay, this is one of my pages. In fact, I might pull you up a little bit so you can see it a bit better actually. Let's tighten that up so you can see a bit more. And this page is called Sparky, and it's a Tim Burton film about a little boy who's got a dog called Sparky who he loves to death, and Sparky gets run over and he brings Sparky back to life like Frankenstein. I can't remember the complete story. I will try and find it. And I'll try and link it down below, the film title. And I had a dog that I love very much called Bruno, and if I'd have watched that film when I was little, I think I would have tried to bring Bruno back to life too, like the little boy, because your pets when you're little are larger than life. This page is a monkey, copy of a monkey that I've got. He's called Butts, and I don't know if you can see, but there are some monkeys on this page, and it says, "You can keep your monkeys, mine's happy." And there's Butts. And the reason for this page was because I heard that other people's anxieties can be passed on to you, and they're monkeys. And a friend of mine, well, she became a friend. She was a student I was teaching at college, and she said, "I'm sick of carrying other people's monkeys," and she explained to me about these monkeys. And so if anybody passes you a monkey, it's not yours to take responsibility of. That worry is theirs. So you give them back their monkey and you keep yours, because my monkeys are happy monkeys. This page isn't finished yet. It's the Moomins. It's mixed media, and I've just got to finish painting the Moomins in because I absolutely adore the Moomins. They are one of my favourite childhood programs. A lot of my book is about reliving childhood memories. And this is another page, and it is of a mole. And it says, "I am a mole and I live in a hole." And these worms are quite happy to see the mole. I love his glasses. I made them out of a paper clip, these glasses. And my granddad showed me a mole when I was little. It was running across the driveway, and my granddad caught it in a dustbin lid. And he called me and my brother over. I must have been about 6. And there was this ferocious little creature running around the dustbin lid. And my granddad said, "Don't touch the mole, they're really angry and vicious, but they can't see." And I just remember to this day this mole running around in the dustbin lid, and he was so soft, and he had these massive front paws for digging, but he couldn't see. And my granddad tipped him gently onto the lawn, where we watched him burrow this hole. And over the years I've come across molehills, and one day when I was out, I actually saw one pop its head out of the hole, which is a very rare thing that people don't see very much. And so I did this page, "I am a mole and I live in a hole." And this is a mixed media piece. It's quite shiny because I'm trying to do the bubbles, and it is a fish. And I love fish, and I don't know if you can see if it's picking up the glitter or not, but it's quite shiny, and it's just a little fishy. It's called Big Fish, and this was brought about by the film Big Fish. If you ever get to see it, do see it. I think it is on Netflix, and you can get it on DVD. Watch it. It's about a boy who believes the stories that his dad tells him are larger than life. And there's a saying where people can be a big fish in a little pond. Do go and watch this film. It is amazing. And this is my big fish. And this one is, if you can see, I've used textured paper on this one. I wish I could find this paper again. It's amazing stuff. He's actually this way up. And it is called Puff the Magic Dragon. And when I was a little girl, the breakfast cereal we had called Ready Break, which was a porridge, I think they still make it. They were giving away plastic records that were stuck on the back of the box, and you cut them out, and if you were lucky and you cut them out carefully, they sounded okay, but if you didn't cut them out very well, they were all wobbly. And we had Puff the Magic Dragon, and my mum put it on the record player, and I heard it, and I cried for days, and it still brings a tear to me when I hear that song, because it's so sad when you grow up and your imagination is not quite the same, and this little dragon's stuck in the attic waiting for someone to find him, to play with him like the little boy did. And I've been a little girl and wanted to find that dragon and go and play with him. So this is dedicated to Puff the Magic Dragon. And this page, again, as I've said before, I use this journal a lot to figure out bigger pictures, and this one is a prototype of a picture that I did in a larger picture, part of an illustration from my book. It's different, and it's a spider, looking at different ways how I can make this spider. The other picture that from this is Ariadne, and she's got more detail with her and everything, but to get the initial character out, this is what I decided to come to. And it is strongly influenced by things that you see. Obviously the legs are quite Tim Burton-y, so you initially put that down, or your influences, and then when you come to do the piece of work for yourself, you can edit it, change it, and turn it into your own. This is just a piece I did. I was doodling, again, just finding different elements. A peaceful day, just doing a peaceful piece of art. Buddha and the bee, and there's the bee. In fact, I think I drew the bee first of all. I drew the bee first of all, and then I did the Buddha, and then I cut the bee out and stuck it on in gold. And again, practicing the style of certain faces just in my book. And these are what I do sometimes when I'm away and I don't have a lot of materials with me, if I'm on in a car journey or waiting. And I did a pot of Marmite from memory, and some hares, because I really quite like hares. They're not brilliant, they're half an hour sketches, if that. Okay, and so again, they're what you can do in your journal. They're not for everybody to see. And this was a prototype for a postcard to go to an exhibition where they were artists submitted their artwork in postcards, which were then auctioned off to raise money for charity. And this is a prototype that I doodled. I thought, is it right? Is that how I want it? Does it say what I want to say? And they are lunar hares. And I was really poorly one day with a cold or flu, I'm not too sure, but I was led on my settee and I drew the deer head that's on my wall. It's not a real one, so don't freak out. It's made of resin. Okay, but that's him. he sits above my fireplace. And another quick doodle, checking out ideas. A magical girl thinking about hairs, and that's what's in her head. She's got a little bee on her necklace, and again thinking about telling a story, thinking about telling a narrative, and this is what this one is about. Just putting ideas down quickly, so in the future I can look, and if I want to expand on this, I can do. I've got one more I'm going to show you, and I'll show you the rest another day. This is Wally, and Wally really does exist. He's a puppet that my stepdaughter has. We bought her for Christmas. We bought her in Manchester Christmas market. And if anyone's heard the sad news about Manchester being bombed yesterday, all our prayers, hugs and love go to those people that were at the Manchester Evening News Arena. Our thoughts go out to you. But this is a mixed media piece, and it's a picture of Wally, and he lives in a box. He's not very big. He's only about this big. Actually, I don't know if I know where Wally is. I'll go and find Wally. Hang on, I'll be back. Hi, I'm back, and this is the box that Wally lives in. And when Wally is not being played with, there he is in his little box, and here he is, Wally. And you can use, as Wally's telling you, yes you can use any model, and this is Wally's picture, and this is Wally, and he's a very, very cheap model. So any of you, if you've got children and you want to do a 5-minute sketch and you're interested in doing an illustration, find a toy and use it as your model. And what was really good was Brina, my stepdaughter, was intrigued about drawing Wally, and I just pick him off the wall a minute. Sorry about Wally. This is the picture that Brina did of Wally too. So she got to draw him from life. It says there, Brina's picture, Wally picture. And this is a good thing about using 3D things. You can see them where the light shines. You get to use your eyes more because it's not a flat image, and it's fun. And we had a great afternoon drawing Wally, and she used lots of different techniques, and she learned how to put proportion on the paper with help. So please, if you've got a toy that your children really, really do love, like we love Wally, use it as a model. It's great fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. There are loads of quirky things in people's houses that you can use as a model. So Wally's going to wave bye-bye for now. And I'm going to say to you, don't forget, use your sketchbook for helping you out with stress. Use it as a diary, visual diary. Use it to map out pictures that you might want to do in the future. The possibilities are endless. I have no idea how to get Wally back in his box. There he goes. There he is. Night night, Wally. Okay, so I will see you later. Okay, and have a good day, and don't forget to do some art. Bye bye.